Generosity. Yeah, and indulgence.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I'll now recognize myself for 5 minutes. Thank you, Comptroller General Dorado, for being with us today. And I apologize for you having to bear witness to the tantrums that unfolded in this committee earlier today. The Oversight Committee has convened today to discuss something throwing the left into a tailspin, spending more time protesting and disrupting official proceedings than legislating. All because we're talking about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse and government mismanagement. For decades, this wasn't a partisan issue. You know who championed cutting back on waste, fraud, and abuse? No other than President Obama and Joe Biden. In 2011, Obama signed Executive Order 13576 to create a Government Accountability and Transparency Board under Joe Biden's watch to root out waste, to root out fraud, and to root out abuse in federal agencies. Joe Biden himself even admitted back then, quote, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse has been something Washington has talked about for decades, but now more than ever, what the American people need is action, end quote. But now the left has done a complete 180, claiming cutting waste, fraud, and abuse is fascist. They say it's a threat to democracy. They even say our nation's chief executive shouldn't be allowed to direct or control the executive branch, or even ask an unelected bureaucrat who works for him what they did at work last week. We just want to know, what are the top 5 things you did at the office? You should know in about 5 minutes. And if you can't answer that question, you probably shouldn't be employed by the federal government or any company or organization. I would never hire you.
Representative Nancy Mace delivers a fiery takedown of Democrats during a congressional hearing, accusing them of having Trump derangement syndrome and prioritizing political theater over real oversight. In this video, we break down the key moments, the context behind the chaos, and what this means for the future of government accountability. Subscribe for more political breakdowns, unfiltered commentary, and updates straight from the Hill. Things just got spicy in Congress. Republican Representative Nancy Mace just ripped into Democrats during a heated Oversight Committee hearing, calling them out for what she claims is full-blown Trump derangement syndrome. From bureaucratic bloat to cyber vulnerabilities, she held nothing back. Let's break it down. During what was supposed to be a routine hearing on government waste and federal spending, tensions exploded. While Democrats protested the hearing's direction, Mace took the mic and unleashed, accusing the left of using protests and tantrums to distract from real accountability.
Their disruption has nothing to do with policy and everything to do with Trump derangement syndrome. And I fear that their disruption is pathological. It's about their need to oppose anything tied to President Trump. They'd rather protect bloated bureaucracy and light our tax dollars on fire than admit he was right. So I'll repeat, they have Trump derangement syndrome, and I fear this is terminal. Now, turning to an issue of great importance to me as chairwoman of the Cybersecurity, Information Technology, and Government Innovation Subcommittee, Mr. Dodaro, the 2025 high-risk list highlights serious failures in federal cybersecurity and technology modernization, as you are, I'm sure, fully aware. Federal agencies spend billions of dollars a year on software without a comprehensive or detailed understanding of what they're purchasing and how it compares to what they're already paying for. In other words, a lot of duplication. GAO has reported without improvements to IT portfolio and investment reviews, saying the federal government will likely continue to expand resources and IT investments that do not meet the needs of the government or the public. What steps should agencies take right now to actually understand the software they're buying instead of just throwing taxpayer dollars at it, hoping for the best? What's your advice?
Yeah, I'm going to turn to Carol Harris, who's our Director in Information Technology, and she can enumerate for you.
Terrific.
Thank you for the question. So a number of things that can be done. First of all, with regard to IT management, I mean, we have a major issue where we have $100 billion annually going to the IT budget across the federal government. 80% of that money is going towards sustaining old systems. So we have to tackle the legacy
How old are some of
issues.
these systems?
Some of these systems range, up to even like 50 years old. So they're old and they need to be.
These are the legacy systems.
These are
right,
correct. These are the legacy systems.
What kind of
That's right.
technology were they coded with?
With COBOL, for example, and other antiquated computer languages. And that's part of the issue where now for these particular systems, the government is having a difficult time finding staff that and knowledgeable people to actually work on these programs because these computer languages are out of date.
After I taught myself HTML in college, because there weren't college classes on how to code HTML, and I considered it a real programming language, some people may not, but I learned COBOL when I was back in 1999. I worked on Y2K stuff, and I mean, that was almost 26 years ago, 27 years ago when I did that. And the fact that we're still using it decades later. Real quickly, I only have 45 seconds left. What are some of the security and operational risks resulting from the last administration's failure to review and manage federal government IT?
Well, when you take a look at those legacy systems, for example, because we're continuing to manage them, there are cybersecurity vulnerabilities associated with those, as well as the staffing challenges, as well as, just increased costs associated with maintaining these. So the security vulnerabilities in maintaining these old systems are very real, and we have to address them. And we've made multiple recommendations. We have 700 recommendations that are still open that need to be addressed immediately.
And thank you both for your time today. I will yield back. I will now recognize Mr. Khanna for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I wanted to comment.
She didn't stop there. Mace tied their resistance directly to Trump-era policies, suggesting they'd rather light tax dollars on fire than admit anything Trump did was effective. Mace also threw it back to 2011, pointing out that both Obama and MVP Biden were once champions of cutting waste, fraud, and abuse in federal programs. She read a direct quote from Biden himself backing transparency and oversight. But now, she says, the same actions are being labeled fascist all because Trump touched the issue. Her point? The left hypocrisy isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. As chairwoman of the Cybersecurity and IT Innovation Subcommittee, Mace shifted focus to outdated tech systems in the federal government. She revealed that 80% of the federal IT budget is spent maintaining decades-old software. She even shared that she coded in COBOL herself in 1999. That's how outdated these systems are, and we're still pouring billions into them. And it's not just inefficient, it's a national security risk. Despite clear warnings, the GAO has made over 700 recommendations to modernize and secure federal systems, and they're still waiting on action. Mace warned that the window to act is closing fast. This isn't just about politics, it's about protecting your data, your taxes, and your future. And it's about time Congress listened. If you want more straight-up breakdowns like this without the spin, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss what the media won't show you. Whether you agree with Nancy Mace or not, one thing is clear: the conversation around waste, tech, and government accountability is long overdue. The question now is, will Washington finally listen? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is this Trump derangement syndrome or just partisan politics as usual? I'll be jumping in and reading your takes. Until next time, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and stay tuned.